What's up? What's going on? What's up, people? Good morning. How are things? How are things? What is going on right now is last night I started putting the ocean flow modification stuff into the new movement system, and that appeared to work, and then I changed it so that the timings would be better and stuff and broke some things. So now I get to figure out why. I don't think we actually want that one. So last I checked, rivers didn't propagate forward correctly. Oh, it's actually fixed now. Okay, well, let's see. looks reasonable. We're going to fix how long it takes lilies to go, probably. Now, because I can't undo, if I mess up this timing, it's no good. Oh, I messed it up. Ah! Not quite. Wait, what just happened? All right, I guess it... So I want to add a thing where, so right now it's sort of, we're giving you time to get on the lily pad, but I want to do a thing where it bobs up and down for a second to show that it's been like modified. This new movement system owns, dude. Okay. Well, I could do that now. Yeah, because if we're gonna do the undo thing, then I want to sort of stabilize some stuff like this. Okay, let's do that. So what happens is when we hit the lily with water, we have this num move delays thing. So I think first of all, no, there already would be one in this case. How do I want to do this? So what's happening is if we look at the transaction list here, once I push this into the water, we get this transaction with the flow updater in it, right? And that gets refreshed every time it ends. And the flow updaters and the lilies are in the same transaction, right? So once this thing starts moving, which right now it's counting down its move delay. I guess it's got multiple move delays, which doesn't feel very good. There we go. It's finally moving. And the whole idea there is to give you time to get on it and stuff. But the thing is, it seems a little bit inconsistent. So like if I go kick this stone off, for example, this also is supposed to have a move delay. We've got to fix it that first push is slow, but it doesn't right there. So that might be something that I broke. So first we want to make this visible. So like every time there's like a move delay, it could bob up and down. And then we'll tune these things. So we are going to change visualize move delay. We're maybe going to want to tune move delay depending on what's happening. And delay when skipping stone and less delay on new river for some reason. I don't know why it's like 3 right there. Is this a spoiler for that? These are all real levels that we're looking at. These are all real levels. Okay. I'm just going to set this to 1 right now. Okay, and when we get a move delay, we're going to have a thing on the lily called Can you do I minus equals minus 1? Yes. Okay. So we should have a duration here. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to like slightly bob these up and down in Z. And I guess I do this stuff in draw. Yeah. So we have all this little bit of procedural animation stuff that happens in here. So we're going to say if it's a lily, oops, if oh, let's we're just going to say this is already figured out by the time we get here. All right, so let's say H is just O dot 1. That's how high we're going to bounce. Offset Z is sine of lily dot move delay T times tau times 0.5, so it's going to go from 0 to 1 up to 0, back down to 0, times H, and we're going to say pos dot Z plus equals offset Z. Okay, now simulate, we're going to calculate these things. I can't type today. Okay, so So that's not doing the delay yet. This should... All right, well, it did it. That was kind of a lame looking bounce, but... See, it takes a long time before we even do that, which is weird. Why does it take that long? Like, in theory, we should do this, start this move delay as soon as the particles cross into the, like as soon as that square goes blue right now already, it should already be going up and then down. But there's some other delay in there. See that? Like it only started way frickin' later. So why is that? It could have to do with this lily timer thing, but I doubt it. It's probably just some old if statement. All right. Yeah, it's just not in the transaction at all, which is what I would expect if it's not doing anything. Question is, why is it not in the frickin' transaction for two squares? It is a mystery. So we could just debug what happens, but let's take a look first. Okay, so move lilies is the thing that gets called every time we're going to file a transaction. So we go over all the flow updaters, then we go over all the lilies. Oh, you know, there's a clue that I wasn't paying enough attention to. Here, let's start ourselves on that level. There's a clue, which is in the beginning there when the lily's not moving. This is due to our undo not getting saved. So here, when the water hits it, see that rectangle on the right-hand side of the lily? That's an impact rectangle. Like, for some reason, we sent the lily moving to the right, and then it hit the wall. And because we don't have nice animations on it to show that sort of thing, we don't really see it. It's just that rectangle is the only thing. So that's what's taking all that time, is we tried to send it going right, and it couldn't go right because there was land there. So it's probably here. This is the place where we go when we're adding flow to the ocean. So we set the ocean info. We find a lily at that position, if we find one. We set it moving in the direction. And okay, this is just wrong. This is supposed to be next info dot direction. We use the old ocean direction, which is not meaningful because there was no flow in there. All right, so, whoops. So now it should be much more reasonable. Yep. Yep, doesn't that seem better than if it's just hanging out forever in the water? You can't really see the... Maybe the... Is it doing its little move bob at all now? Yeah, it is. It's just hard to... It's a very lame little animation, so it's hard to see. We can add a little bit more wobble into it just so that we get something out of it. Like here, for the rock, we do this orientation thing, and we could for now just say and I kind of want to do a tilt one way and the other way and back. And actually a good way to do that is to use sine of all the way around the circle. And then what's a small angle? Like that. So we're gonna sort of vibrate it, right? Like that, and then like that. Now this is gonna look stupid because it's probably gonna clip into the water or something, because our water rendering is not like good, but we'll see. Well, that was fine. I mean, it wasn't fine. It's pretty lame. But, you know, it at least indicates to us that something is happening. Should wobble with the wave. Yeah, all that stuff, we're going to work it out. For now, all we're doing is like... This is just placeholder for what the real stuff is going to be. We're just getting something in there, you know. Like really it should be doing some kind of little animation the whole time that it's moving. It should do something when it goes around corners, you know. You know. Okay. We could actually, we could double it. Let's make it go more. Smaller angle, but double the van damage. Okay. So you definitely see that something is occurring when that happens. Okay. So now, when we set a lily moving with a skipping stone, this is a weird one. This is one that we're going to want a test level to figure out. We'll use this one, because what the heck. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Actually, let me show you the deal. Okay, so it's important for some levels. Oh, let's not do that. It's important for some levels that you could have some lilies going in parallel with others if you cook them off like that. Let me just do this and show you. See how like the first one goes and then some other ones go? That's kind of undesirable. Because you want to be able to build levels where a rock like hits two lilies that are next to each other and they both go at the same time. So it would be good if you knew as an experienced player that you always got like 2 or 3. And I'm just trying to think of what's the cleanest way to make that happen. It also bothers me that that first push doesn't is very slow before it starts skipping. We'll fix that too. I just don't want a rat hole on that. Okay. So there are two things in play, and it's making it a little hard to think about. Okay, so you see how when there are multiple lily pads in a row, they all move in sync in lockstep like this, and that's very important for gameplay, right? So there's basically one synchronous move that all the lilies get put into when they're moving, right? And that move delay slot thing is just to say, okay, before we actually start moving, give us a way to not move yet, right? Problem is that move delay is itself synchronous with the move slot, right? And with something like this, we actually would like some time. We would like the first couple to do a variable move delay so that they sync up at the end and are both ready to move. Now, there is supposed to be a mechanism for this already, which is the lily timer. And that's not working, and so I could fix that, right? So this thing, this time to next lily move, this doesn't need to be a separate function. Okay, so when we do set movie lilying, we have this maybe start lily timer, right? And that says, okay, if there's a lily transaction, we don't need a timer. Otherwise, get the kickoff time. So maybe that's just really small. That is really small. 1/20th of a second? Are you kidding me? Let's make the default be the same as a move delay. Wait, that's supposed to be, okay. So instead of, let's rename this time per Lily update. Okay. Actually, we could take out this ×2 then. Here. Thankfully. All right. Oh, wait. This is the reason we're multiplying this by 2. Okay. Okay. So I don't know, something like that. Let's just see what happens. This still isn't an ideal solution for a few reasons. Yeah, so that's better. I like that you get about the first 3. Now the thing is, oh, wait, what? Was? How did we do that? We somehow started 2 Lily transactions. That's weird. Okay, but the reason this still isn't ideal is that if lilies are already moving, then you're kind of at the whim of the timer whether you split 2 in a row like that or not, but maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. So how did I start 2 of these? I guess I should check that there's a transaction here, but I still don't understand how this could happen twice. So this shouldn't do anything if the timer is not inactive or if we already have a transaction. Now, the way I would bulletproof this is check if we have a transaction here, right? That would solve this problem. But I want to know why the problem is happening because this is a little bit scary. See, sometimes you could solve a problem but be masking something else. And this is This is maybe one of those times. Like, do we call this twice somehow? Let's see. Okay. Yes, we do. Like somehow we're restarting the timer. This doesn't make any sense to me, man. All right. Okay, hold on. Wait, what? Oh, because we don't set this to inactive when we start the level. So we have a transaction like for the first frame, which who knows if that's bad or not. But anyway, so we kick this. It wakes up the first lily. That's fine. It starts the timer. The timer has counted down. We move the lilies. We've reset the timer to inactive. Okay. We're in maybe restart lily timer. We should have a transaction, right? Yes. Let's go down there for our breakpoint. Okay, so now the stone has gone a whole bunch. Why do we not have a lily transaction now? There's not supposed to be a gap anymore. So when the previous lily transaction... Okay. Okay, here's what's going on. So this is all happening from down in update move transactions, right? Which, you know, does stuff, responds to things moving. So one of the stone is skipping, that wakes up a lily and all that. And it's happening to do this on the frame where we finished one lily transaction. And we're about to start another one, but we haven't started the next one yet. And we don't want to start the next one till we do whatever needs to happen here, because this might change some gameplay state. So like, down here is where we start the new lily transaction if we had the old one. So we're in this tiny window in between. Now this makes sense to me. Now I feel okay with putting a solution for this, as long as I comment why that is the solution. Because I'd rather do a silly solution to this than complicate the structure of this core transaction handling situation. So what's going on, people? I'm going to make some tea. And then we'll fix this. So now this is a special advance announcement for tonight's Thanksgiving night stream happening later on. We got a brand new chai juice machine. It's been a while since we made a chai latte with the frother on the stream. And so we have a new setup that we're gonna test later. But it's too early in the day. You can't be hitting the chai lattes at 9 in the morning. So Code Boy. I hope your girlfriend doesn't know how much of an insult that is. I hope she doesn't know. Because otherwise... Okay. All right, the water is heating up. Sometimes we set the timer in a mildly erroneous way in the gap during move transaction processing after we have finished the previous Lily transaction, but before we've started the next one, we could fiddle around with that. But because that is a pretty complex. All right. See, we said we were going to get tea water and then fix this, but maybe we just fixed it while the water was boiling. I mean, I don't see extra transactions. Do you? No. No, you don't. We are using the final Bengal spice from that box of Bengal spice. Fortunately, we picked up a new box, so it's not that much of an emergency. Oh. Any idea how long I'm going to be live now? I don't know. It depends on how long I feel like it. We've already been here an hour. Streaming gets tiring sometimes. Who knows? I can't make a promise. Okay. That's a little bit wrong right there. Okay. So I want to fix the fact that the stone is really slow. And then start skipping. Like, it should go fast onto the water. Now I'm almost certain we had some old code to detect that situation that's probably been turned off when we put in the new movement system because it's just a little too different. See, I obviously want to go take a nap and shut off the stream. Like after skipping the stone, the first three move, then another group, instead of them moving smoothly one after another. Yeah, so you don't want them to move at arbitrary times because then you won't be able to solve puzzles with them. That's the whole point. This way that they move is, well, I don't like that we sometimes get 3 and sometimes get 4 there. That's no good. This way that they move is carefully designed to allow you to do useful things with them. If they all launched off the second that they were hit, then you would never be able to group them together like is happening down there. See what I'm saying? It would be really annoying. You wouldn't like it. Is it deliberate that they go in groups of 6, or is that a function of the move delay and the speed of the stone? It is the move delay and the speed of the stone, right? So, the lilies move every so often, and the stone skips so many times in that amount of time, and you can adjust those values per level, actually. Size of the lily set changes depending on the puzzle. Sort of. Like, we don't really do that in practice. We don't so this whole thing, we don't have any levels where there's like a line of stuff like this. We might do it just to do it, but that's not really a thing that happens in the game right now. So it's not like something that you think about, really. All we're really trying to do is make the following thing consistent. Is that if I have a puzzle like this, could have done that faster, but let's just say I've got this, and I need to kick these lily pads together, actually, because they need to go land somewhere together, right? That has to be able to work. That's the point. This whole like giant line that we put together is not a usual gameplay situation. Now, it does change per puzzle, like we're saying, but that's more like incidentally. Like sometimes there are reasons why you might want to make the stone skip slower, like if part of the puzzle involves you doing something before the stone gets to where it's going, and you don't want it to have to be a super tweaky timing puzzle that only Shroud could solve, right? You just slow the stone down. But then, of course, that would, if there were lilies on that level, that would change how many it would wake up during the thing. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I do kind of want to have a level with a big row of lilies like this at some point, just because it's a thing to do, but it does not currently exist. Okay, so I'm writing down the level idea. So let's make this stone not annoying. I really don't remember where this would be. Aha! So here we detect that it's moving on to water. We actually, there might be multiple places where we do that. Nope. Oh, yep. Yep, line 1084. Okay, this is just controlling what animation the guy plays. Do we call push pushes before this or after this? Way before. Okay. So we are putting, this is a weird thing. We're putting the stone into the same transaction with the guy, which we should do in theory. Because if one doesn't complete, the other shouldn't complete. In practice, for this kind of a thing, it probably doesn't matter. Now the problem is when we put it into the same transaction with the guy, the timing kind of wants to match up because transactions, like if I'm slowly moving from one square to another and pushing something, then we expect the timing of that thing that I'm pushing to match, right? So maybe what we want to do, there's two things we could do. One is we could keep it in the same transaction as the guy, but just cheat the visuals and stuff, and then hope that the transaction commits before we want to skip again. That could be weird. Or down here where we detect the situation, we could break it out of that transaction. Which we probably do if it's... I guess we don't, but... Okay, so this is all old stuff. This whole first skip thing, I don't think we do any of this. I think I want to try just exempting it from this transaction. See, the problem is if we exempt it from the transaction, the player could be doing something really fast. He could be... No, I don't know. I could almost imagine there's a situation in which you would enter the same square as the stone, but that would be very contrived to set up. Very contrived. I will make a note of this when I do this. So I think, so all this first skip stuff and whatever, maybe start skipping launches a separate transaction for the stone, which causes the warrior to not move forward. I'm not sure why that would have happened. Because we do... I'm just going to try doing a new transaction here. All right. So because these notes were made when the transaction system was different. What causes the delay when between the rock being pushed and when it starts skipping? It starts skipping when currently it starts skipping when it is completed moving into its new square after the push, and then it looks and notices that it's over water, right? So here we're going to say rock.skipping direction equals let's just say dir. Okay. So if we're skipping, we change the direction. Oh, except, oh no. Okay. If it's skipping already and we push it, it's hard to think about what should happen. Is that supposed to be delayed like it does? No, that's what we're working on right now. We're working on making that not happen. It's just not easy. And now people are sending me messages and it's making my phone vibrate. That's annoying. So the question is, do I just have it skip in the direction that it's going to be pushed, hoping that the skip time is fast enough? I don't know. Wouldn't it then change its direction to where you're pushing it towards? Yes. Yes, that is how it would behave. That is how it would behave. Okay, so I can worry about the already skipping case in a minute. This only breaks like 2 puzzles in the whole game if I don't handle this. So, so we're just not going to worry about that yet. We're going to worry about what almost always happens, which is that a rock isn't skipping and then you push it and it is. So we're going to maybe start skipping this, and then we're going to continue, which means that we are not adding it to the transaction. And then we'll see if that causes a problem. See, that still took just as long. What the hell? Well, probably I did something dumb. So let's go to pushes, and see what's happening. No, we don't want our old breakpoints. Okay. Okay, so we're pushing this rock. Uh-oh. Well, hold on. My key is stuck down. All right. So one of these is not true. What is delta? Length of delta is going to be 1. So moving on to water is probably commented out and returns false or something. Oh, get pending move position. Because there's no transaction filed for this, it's going to say false. Success is going to be false. Yep. Okay. So who calls this? Is it just for, I guess we had just searched for this. And we determined all right. Let's consolidate this. See. We're going to say rock.skipping here. And just do that. Okay, so down here, moving on to water is only called from here. So we're just going to put the target position as a parameter. That's all. Is it called target or target position? It's called target. All right. Now let's see what happens. Well, that's clearly better. Clearly, whoops. Clearly we have made no mistakes today. Okay. Maybe start skipping. Okay, this is not good. So this is made to be called when the rock is actually over water. Okay. Do I want it to be skipping? Or do I want it to have a fast move and then skip afterward? What does skipping do other than the movement? Well, I don't know. It's just about, probably about subtleties of visuals and audio later and stuff. And just how the code is organized. Well, we're going to have maybe start skipping call start skipping. Because there ain't no maybe about what we want to happen right here. Or, yeah. There's no actual start skipping yet, so. Okay. So back here, instead of maybe, we're going to say actually do it. Much better. Except that it's putting water in the land. Which is not really what you want. Still feels better. So this do commit is not used anymore. That's old movement system. We're going to say from land, right? Okay. So I moved some things. Info. That. That's better. It's just, it makes me nervous because they're not in the same transaction, and that could be a problem in some way sometime. But yeah. It's okay. Why is it so green? Now that the lilies are, we can also see when they're doing stuff they shouldn't do, ramming against the land like that. See how it's like vibrating down there? I'll fix that at some point. Okay. This is all good. The whole undo thing we got to fix. So I would say that doesn't feel that good right now. The way if a rock lands on a lily pad and there's no splash and like no delay and then it goes later, I think if we like make a splash and stuff, it'll be good. Well, here's the thing. You know, I think the next step to do is to make the undo system work better. Uh-oh. Well, okay. That's no... The multiple transactions there is no surprise because undo doesn't work yet. I just discussed for 10 minutes why the lilies work the way they do. I literally just did. Yeah, you know, since it's a lazy holiday, I kind of feel like just taking a stream break and taking a nap and stuff, or whatever, and coming back after lunch. I'm supposed to meet someone for lunch. Coming back after lunch and just doing the undo system. Because that's the main thing. There was some stuff we wanted to do before. We could do a little bit of that. Like, change these booleans to flags. Well, yeah. Let's start doing that. Oops. Oops. Oh my God, dude. Sometimes it's just nicer to have a Boolean. Oh my God. I mean, maybe I should add bit Booleans. I was thinking about it for a while. It's just kind of stupid to waste all these fields. Most of these well, you know, let's just do it. And this will make us more motivated to put more features that make flags nicer. So for example, we should just be able to say this, but we can't because we don't have that right now. So this is annoying, or you have to using it, and that's annoying. Okay. Now I'm sure some people outside this file try to use that. Yep. Only twice. Okay. How bad did we break things? Hopefully not at all. Are the other two new games also being... No, this is the only game being made in this programming language right now. Okay. So, we did a flag. That's probably the most painful one that I picked there. Oh, teleport interpolations. This is going to be another one. But I don't want to do that right now. I want to do the flags. Let's do done. Oh my God. How... Okay. It just, it's not readable, man. It's not readable. Oh, this should say enum flags, by the way. I mean, I could just say, if it's in enum flags, you could test it as a bool, and that's syntactic sugar. I mean, I need to think about that because that's a little bit, it's a little bit ambiguous in a certain way, but maybe we could fix it. Have good Thanksgiving. All right. Blocking player. Sure, there's more. Okay. Now what? Closed. Yeah, like if I just said, if it's an enum flags, you can dereference the value and you get a Boolean that's true or false. Or even most of the time you don't need it to be a Boolean, you just want to do the mask. That would be pretty good. That's going to be compiler feature. Enum flags will always be a sequence of x to the power of 2. Maybe, except like you could OR flags together in here if you wanted to. Okay. Okay. So has moved flow updaters. We haven't done. Oh wait, that is not even a. Oh, is it? Wait. That's one that we put in initially, so that's in there. So we just need these. Let's test. Like, does it still run? Game 3 is not a puzzle game. It has some puzzles in it. Okay. Closed. Okay, we just did that one, so let's... All right, good. Driven by a controller. I think there's going to be more. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let's call it await transaction. Okay. Great. Okay, so this caused change. Do we even use that? Looks like we do. To do undo end frame. All right. Okay, that is done. Amen. Great. Seems to work. Will I be ditching C++ for good? Yes. I personally will be ditching C++ for good. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, there was... There was something I wanted to remove from an entity as well, but I don't remember what it is. Maybe we'll just see if I remember later. Anyway, so we got those flags going. We've got... There was some other kind of stuff I wanted to do before the undo. Look at all these no check-ins we have from like a month of me just typing them randomly. Most of these are small, like delete this code or whatever. Why do we have no check-ins in the animation graph still? That's from the thing we were doing the other week. Oh, rename. This was debugging prints. This was debugging prints. I just want to cut down on these a little bit so it's not such a colossal effort when we do want to check in. Well, we got rid of a few no check-ins. Still 86 of them. On the one hand, that means we've been doing work, because we do way more work than we type no check-ins, but like, holy cow, dude, 86 of them. We're going to want to check this stuff in. All right, what was this? Yeah, this was player speed rover stuff. That if we did bring that back, that would be totally different. Oh, wave visual position. That's what I want to get rid of. We're just going to say for now. Oh, we're not even using that. All right. Does someone else try to use it? Nope. All right, great. Player transaction clone style. Oh, yeah, that's something we're legit going to have to think about. That's something to think about. What is this transaction ID? It's not used. Easy. Easy. Need to, that's a legit thing to think about there. What the hell was this for? Oh, right. Probably don't call it right now. Oh, do. We actually do. So this is just to say, if you're riding on something for a lot of frames, store and undo. So that's what that is. Okay, that's printfs that we were debugging. That's something we legit need to think about. Okay, those are things to think about. We're down to 81. It's like trying to get through my emails. We got rid of that. Okay, that's to think about. Oof. Okay, that's something we're going to have to look at. Okay. I don't think these are necessary now. Why am I setting this duration variable and then overriding it down? That doesn't make sense. Okay, well, we definitely want to go on no check-in patrol to try to hit some of these more serious ones. We've got it down to 70 right now. So I think maybe what we do next stream is we start attacking some of these before we do the undo system, because a lot of these are, you know, there are little details that we wanted to be handled correctly by the movement system because certain very picky situations in the game need that in order to feel good or be playable or whatever. And you don't just want to dump all that work on the floor, you want to bring it back. And that's what all these no check-ins were, or a lot of them. It was like, well, we're writing this new transaction system. We don't know how yet to do this thing that we used to do, so we're just going to comment it out, but we need to go back and do all these little things that we used to do. I don't think it'll be that bad. Like, we just got it from 80 something down to 70, although that's largely low-hanging fruit. It's still fine. Yeah, so that'll be probably later today's stream. And then if that goes well, we can do the undo stuff. And then we'll be ready to check it in. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. I won't even know what to do. All right, thank you everybody for coming by. And we'll do another stream today, I think, later on. And it will involve chai juice. That'll be good. Thankful for the stream. I am thankful that there are people here to see the stream on this fine day. See you later.